Hey, Joey Starr here for Star Quality Kitchen. It's Saturday afternoon, a bit past the time that I normally would have my afternoon coffee, so I'm kind of feeling that need for a caffeine fix. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't been having the best day. I had to get up early to take Sammy to get some vaccinations so that she can stay at the kennel while I'm on a trip that I'm supposed to go on the week after next. And for starters, Sammy's not the best passenger. She gets so excited that she's kind of rowdy. It's tough taking a trip with her. Even a 20-minute drive sometimes can be really grueling. But we had been making some great progress on the last few trips I've taken with her. Well, the thing about dogs is that no matter what age a dog is at, mentally, they're kind of similar to a human toddler. And because of that, they are prone to days where they are just impossible, like obnoxious, don't want to listen, have no control over themselves. Today was such a day for her, and the trip to the vet was tough enough. She loves going to the vet. She's not one of those dogs that's afraid of the vet. Although while she was there, she was really resistant to getting her shots and stuff, which sounds like a lot of people out there these days, right? That's not the normal for her. She's been going to the vet since I'd gotten her, since she was a little puppy, and she's always been great about it. You know, quick little 1-2. Not this time. She put up a lot of fight, not aggressive fight, just wouldn't sit still. Then the ride home, in the beginning she was great. I was like, oh, that's awesome, because usually she gets so excited seeing the people that she gets a lot of energy out. So usually the ride back's pretty pleasant. Well, about halfway back home, she decided, screw it. I'm gonna be difficult. I'm gonna just not sit still. I'm gonna cry and whine and all this stuff. She was just being a dog, and it's not her fault. By the time we got home, and by the time it was time to get her out of the car, I was going nuts. So I was pretty upset with her. I'm not upset with her anymore, but I kind of still feel that, you know, you ever get that after effect, like you get really upset about something and then you're over it, but like you're drained? That's how I feel. Then on top of that, you know, I've been having one of those days, somewhat in the morning and definitely afternoon, where nothing seems to be going right, or anything that does go right required about 5 to 10 more steps than it needed to. When I came back from that errand, I decided, hey, let me put some time into editing some videos. I find the editing process, I don't know, it's almost like therapeutic. It's relaxing, it's gratifying because I'm seeing these videos come together. So far, I've been pretty happy with the stuff I've been putting together. And that actually went pretty well, but during that time, I received a phone call from the kennel where she's supposed to stay. So one of the vaccines she needs to get was her Bordella. Unfortunately, the person who booked my time didn't take into account how much time it would be from when we spoke to when Sam would need to stay there. So she didn't advise me that, hey, if I didn't already give her the shot, that there wouldn't be enough time. They have a policy about 2 weeks after the shot, because what can happen is in the first couple of weeks, it's possible for them to cough the stuff out, even sneeze it. So there's a bit of a risk if the dog is in a kennel with other dogs and they get a cough and then the vaccination hasn't kicked in yet. So their policy is it's got to be at least 2 weeks, and from now until when she was supposed to stay there is only about 10 days. It's not going to happen. I'm going to try one kennel. I happen to know the owner personally. I'm going to speak to her and see what her policy is, and if her policy is the same as where I normally take Sammy, then I'm going to take that as a sign from above to say, hey, you know what? Don't take the trip. I'm actually parked in front of my home right now. I just came back from picking up my groceries, and I decided, hey, you know what? I've had a rough day. Let me treat myself. I decided to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get my coffee fixed, and I remembered this advertisement that I saw in an email today about right now they have this holiday blend coffee. I think it's only available until early January, like January 4th maybe. Also, they had the special croissant. The holiday blend coffee, it's blend coffee with sweet notes of molasses and dried fruit. I said molasses, not moles' asses. They didn't take moles, cut off their asses, and dip into the coffee. Although these days, it wouldn't surprise me. Sweet notes of molasses and dried fruit. That sounds like it's either going to be spectacular or it's going to be god-awful. The day I'm having the god-awful is definitely within the realm of possibilities, but I'm not upset at the dog anymore, but I'm a little bit upset about the whole status of the trip being up in the air. So I figured a little comfort food, perhaps. And they have this limited time thing called the Croissant Stuffer. It's a flaky chicken, bacon, and cheese croissant stuffer. So not only are these being advertised, but because I have the Dunkin' Point membership, I'm getting double points for buying each of those things. So boom. So I figure, you know what? No time like the present. Let's film a small review. I'm in the car so I can just kind of relax here, because once I get back inside my house, it's gonna be like Thunderdome, because she's gonna be excited and I'm not upset with her anymore, but I am drained. You know what? Let me take a moment to enjoy our new stuff and share that with you. So first, because it's really important, I want to try the coffee. I decided to dress this the way I would any other coffee I have there. I take mine a little light and sweet, so let's see. The aroma, honestly, It just smells like any other coffee. Whatever flavored notes they have in there, it's pretty passive. It's not a bad thing to have passive notes, but the point is, it smells maybe a hint sweet. That's probably the molasses. Let's pop the top. Let's see. The inside, well, I have sweetener and cream in there, so it looks like normal coffee as well. No surprise there. It's still really warm. The modern day Dunkin' Donuts cup, they're pretty good at maintaining the warmth because it was a good 20-minute drive from there to here. Plus I blabbed for at least 5 or so minutes just now. Let's have a sip. First thing is, it's not bad. It's not spectacular. I normally get the midnight, which is a dark roast. For me, this is not as enjoyable as the dark roast is, but it's not bad. If I had a lineup of all of Dunkin' Donuts' coffees, different coffees that I have tried before, and I say, hey, pick one for your morning coffee or whatever, this wouldn't be the top choice. It's not bad. It's drinkable. Thank goodness it's drinkable. I'm taking a sip here. Definitely a very passive note, the molasses. I can taste just enough of the molasses note to say that it's there. In a similar token, I can also say there's also just a hint of the dried fruit, a little bit more than the molasses, but barely. That's probably not a bad thing. I was kind of hesitant about the dried fruit part of it. I like dried fruit, but as a note in coffee, kind of on the fence. My expectation was that it might be great or it might be kind of this is actually okay. Better than the worst of my expectations, not as good as the high end of my expectations. If I'm being really honest here, thinking about the molasses part, again, I dress this the same way I would an extra large midnight roast, or even, I've had the Colombian roast before, it's pretty good. I like the Colombian roast more than this. In the case of the Colombian roast and their previous dark roast and the current midnight roast, the amount of cream and sweetener in here is sufficient. However, when trying it with this flavor, I feel like you can use a little more sweetener. Whatever you normally use, like if you use like say 4 sugars, you may want to add a 5th one just to kind of balance it out. I think if this had a hint more sweetness to it, it would definitely improve it. Let's try the stuffed croissant. Oh, excuse me. Croissant Stuffer. Pardon me. I actually have higher expectations of the croissant than I did for the blend, so hopefully I'm not setting myself up for a big letdown. First of all, let's see what it looks like here. Okay, so it's not really warm. That's because of all my long drive. Actually, it's kind of outright cold, so I'm thinking it wasn't that warm to begin with. Okay, it has a nice look to it. The aroma smells pretty good. I would say that this actually, the aroma off of this is better than what I remember smelling from croissants that they use for their croissant witches. Yeah, it's got a nice smell. A lot of it has to do with the seasoning here, I'm sure. Now, let me see. The actual croissant, the pastry, it's kind of nice and flaky. Here in true fruity fashion. Let's break this sucker apart here. Okay. All right, well. So I open it up here, and honestly, I don't see much aside from the cheese. I see a little bit of the chicken over here. I like the way it flaked. Bread's a little tougher than you would think it would be. Like normally croissants, especially Dunkin' Donuts croissants, they tend to be kind of fragile. This is not so much. It seems like this half, now that I'm looking down at it a little better, let me see if I can point that in here on camera. You see a bit of the bacon, you see a bit of that chicken there, and of course the cheese. So it seems like more of that stuff is in this half. So let's give it the old taste test. It's not bad. First thing, the croissant part, it's decent, soft. It's softer and biting into it than I thought it was going to be, concerning how firm the outside was. The croissant itself, it definitely has a flavor. Dunkin' Donuts never has a bad croissant. You ordered the croissant, which the croissant part is actually pretty good, pretty flavorful, and this is just like that. I'm sure it's the same croissant, just shaped a little bit differently and stuffed with stuff. I mean, that's kind of what you expect. As for the innards, well, the chicken's okay. It kind of tastes like it came from a chicken roll, which is all right, I guess. I mean, it's fast food. I'm not expecting Purdue, but it's okay. Bacon's decent. Has a hint. Oh, you know what? Here's a little piece of the bacon that's kind of segregated itself. Let's see. Apparently that sweetness did not come from the bacon. It's just regular bacon like they use on everything else. A bit on the thin side. It'd be nice if the bacon was slightly thicker and a little crispier too. Take another bite here. We'll try a little bit of the cheese by itself. All right, the cheese, it's nothing special. Matter of fact, it seems a little processed, actually. Yeah, cheese definitely seems a little processed. It's not horrible. It doesn't taste bad. It's just nothing exciting about it. I wouldn't be getting this for the cheese. That's all I'm saying. So a little bit of sweetness, I guess, was in the chicken, which, yeah, this other half, the croissant, it has the cheese. It doesn't appear to have any of the chicken or the bacon. So it's like everything was shifted into the one side of the croissant, and then what was there wasn't much anyway. Is there any more chicken in here? No. So they really skimped on the chicken. And quite honestly, that bacon, it seems like a quarter of a slice. I don't know. Maybe I got an oddball or something, but this is pretty much like all croissant and like this much filler. And then the filler that's there is just okay, not great. You can just order a regular plain croissant from Dunkin' Donuts. It's going to be better than this. You're going to get a bigger croissant. It's not going to be filled with mediocre filling, and it's going to be nice and flaky and flavorful. This, I mean, it is flavorful, but only because of the croissant. The other stuff inside is just meh. When you take a bite and you sip a little holiday coffee, it doesn't taste any better. It doesn't taste any worse either, so I guess that's a plus. Croissant stuffer, it's okay. Would I eat it again? I guess. I wouldn't make a special trip to Dunkin' Donuts to eat this, that's for sure. Nor for this. You should try it for yourself. I have my own taste buds, my own opinions, my own palate, if you will. And you may find that you like this better, but if you want to know my thought on it, don't make a special trip to try this. If you're ordering food for the office, Dunkin' Donuts, you're getting a bunch of different things. Maybe get sprinkle a couple of these in there that you can taste one. That'll be worth it. But if you're going to Dunkin' Donuts and you're hungry or you want your caffeine fix, get what you normally get. This here, I mean, I did it because that's what you paid me for. that's what it boils down to. That being said, I will enjoy eating this because I'm hungry, and this will fill my little snack attack that I'm feeling right now. Give me a little bit of comfort after a rough day I've had. And this will help me a little bit with my caffeine fix. And that'll really be it. So I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to put away my groceries. I'm going to say hello to my beautiful dog. I feel bad that I had to get upset with her before. She's a wonderful dog. She's really great. Her heart's in the right place. She's a beautiful soul. What really makes me feel bad about it, we all have days like today, right? We all had that day where just stuff doesn't go right and our dogs want to be little brats. But you know what? The wonderful thing about having a dog is that you can get upset with them. You come back to them, and it's like it never happened. They completely forgive you. They're happy to see you. It's just like any other time. And that's one of the most beautiful things about owning a dog. It's just that right there. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, stalk. Laters.